I'm Claire Bevan and I'm the Childcare and Early Years Commissioning Officer for Swansea Council. I work within the Early Years and Childcare Commissioning team, and we support childcare provision across Swansea. So that includes our day nurseries, Flying Start, those delivering sessional care, and childminders working in their own home. Across Wales, every local authority is required to complete what we call a childcare sufficiency assessment, looking at the supply and demand of childcare for working families. And part of this work in the year ahead of us is to work with communities across Swansea to understand the needs and demands of childcare. So that means focusing on working with families who maybe wouldn't usually engage with us, to find out what it is in terms of childcare that they need, how they need it to work, and where they need that childcare to be. The work that we do within DARPL has really enhanced the opportunities for us to meet with different communities where we want to see increased Welsh language provision, and for those families within global majority groups who maybe don't usually come forward to tell us about their needs of childcare and why we need to find out more from them, really, in terms of what they'd like to see in Swansea for them to be able to work and for their children to be able to socialise in childcare settings before going to school. I had come across the Welsh Government announcement on the Anti-Racism Action Plan, so did a little bit of research, and simultaneously, without me knowing, Caroline was also doing her own little bit of research, and we came together and recognised that actually it was something that we were both quite passionate about and that we felt that we needed to move forward on. We met with the DARPL team. We heard some stories from the DARPL team that were very emotional and really got us thinking about things that we were quite blind to, that we really didn't recognise was happening. And once we heard those stories, we looked at the action plan via Welsh Government. We really felt a sense of need in terms of being able to work with our childcare sector and our colleagues within the local authority, within our team, to push this forward. So what we've learned as part of the DARPL training is the word anti-racism and understanding what that means for us in Wales and in Swansea. And it's the anti-racism work has been really important to us, for us to understand people's life experiences of people that work and live alongside us, that we've never needed to consider before. And because of the life experiences that have been shared with us via people that we've been introduced to via DARPL, or just sitting down and chatting to colleagues in work and other family members, has really made us sit up and listen. And actually there are actions that happen and take place that shouldn't be ignored and can't be ignored and should be challenged. So I think the training has ultimately given us the confidence, and there's still a long way to go, but to enable us to challenge those things that we see and hear around us. When I started on the journey and took part in some training, I sat there thinking, well, I'm not racist. Why am I here? I don't need to be here. I understand what the word racism means, and therefore actually is much of this pointless. There are other people that should be attending this training who are clearly racist because of the words and actions that they use. But actually, when I sat and listened and I thought about family members and maybe the way that they may refer to people of different colour, black or brown, or from different religions, it actually made me realise that I'm silently sitting and accepting those conversations that I hear around me, and actually part of the anti-racism work, and where I then could use my own opportunity to challenge those conversations. DARPL is helping Welsh Government to look at the anti-racism across Wales. In terms of their efforts in doing that, we're really thankful that they've recognised that work begins within the early years. It has to start at the earliest age for those children going through school, but it also in turn, it has to happen for the parents and other professionals that work with those children within the early years. The work that goes on in primary schools and comprehensive schools is fantastic, but having a cohort of childcare workers that understand the Anti-Racism Action Plan, understand how they fit into that work, is really, really important. So for those childcare settings where, maybe it is a childcare setting of mainly white children within the early years, often a diverse community isn't reflected within those environments, and that can be challenging. That maybe can be challenging if the sector that works within the setting is primarily Welsh and therefore don't have experiences of other cultures and how those cultures can be celebrated within the settings. So I think the work of DARPL is really important because it opens up the eyes of the childcare sector to see what's out there, to go beyond their communities, to look at what is happening in another area, in another childcare setting, and how they can come together to celebrate those things, but also to think about their local community and who isn't using them and why aren't they using their provision. And maybe they're not using their provision because people don't feel that they're an open door to their community group, and actually what can they do more to invite people in and make everybody feel welcome.